G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some cool sailors, but I have to share the mic duties with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
G'day, how you going?
Good buddy, how are you?
Same old, same old.
Stuck in lockdown.
Hey, apparently I'm the best dad in the world.
Oh, congratulations. Yes.
Yep, I got the number one badge today.
So for those in the Northern Hemisphere, it's our Father's Day down here, down the Southern Hemisphere. So
Yeah, but it wasn't my daughter. No, only joking. It was my daughter. She came out and she said, here you go, number one, Dad. So I was happy with that.
Nice. Well done. Good work, daughter. Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Boss.
We obviously chat too much, BP, because she sent me the same badge as well.
Oh, really?
Happy Father's Day out there. Jordan, as you always said, never leave a forwarding address.
Yes.
So I don't think you would have got any cards.
I got nothing.
But to all the dads out there, a happy Father's Day. Today we have a father of sorts as the guest. You'd almost say a father of sorts in the foiling arena. So but before we do get to that, on a bit of a sad note, gents, Cameron Dale, who unfortunately passed away just during the week, avid yachty out of the Sandringham Yacht Club. And just a quick shout out to everyone that Cam either sailed with or sailed against, and especially to his partner, Jess Watson, who we know listened to the show. And I was lucky enough to meet Cam several years ago and had many interactions over the time that we did know each other. So, condolences to everyone who knew Cam and especially his family. So, that's bad news. But onwards we must go, gents. Onwards we must go.
Yeah, nice work,
Yep.
boss. Yep, cool. Definitely sad. Right. Well, not sad is our guest this week. We've had him on the show in episode 8. We focused in on our guest. He is a man of certainly large accomplishment, and he is the master of the world of foiling. He is the founder and the president of Foiling Week. He's the president of the International Moth Class. He's the president of Just Being Awesome. And he is a man that we're very happy to talk about because we're going to focus in on the Moth Worlds and find out what's going on in the background. Welcome back to the show, Luca Rizzotti. How are you, mate?
I'm good, guys. Thank you for having me again.
Hey, how big is your business card? All the presidentships you hold? You'd have to read it like vertically.
I'm still waiting for the Air Force One, though. I haven't seen that yet.
Marine Force One, with all the foiling boats you're involved in, mate, you could just do it that way.
I bought the Air Force One. That could work.
Yeah. All right. Righto. What's going on in the Moth World? So we're recording Sunday. You've just finished a lay day. You're woken up. It's nice and early for your time. We've woken you up. We're about to get into the Gold Fleet and Silver Fleet. It's going on. What's going on? It's one, you put a Worlds together in a tough time, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, that wasn't easy. It's been quite a discussion in the fleet about holding the event. Of course, Australia and New Zealand being in lockdown isn't helping the numbers. And of course, it's not easy to hold a award when many of the sailors sadly cannot compete.
Yeah.
But the feeling was that if we hold as a rule that participation of a country will stop a world to happen, we may have a few years without a world championship because of the COVID. So majority of lots of other classes are running the world championship. So we decided to put it to vote to all the, let's say, the classes that are part, all the national classes that are part of the Moth Association, and the vote came up that they prefer to have the Worlds. And here we are with 140 plus entries from, I think, more or less 17, 18 countries. There are many Aussies anyways, many, 12, I think. There's 3 Kiwis. Of course, these are all professional sailors connected with professional circuits like CGP mainly. So they are able to travel for that reason. And of course, we are super happy to have them in the fleet and to represent the country. They are anyway the best out there, and it does show in front of the Moth fleet. You certainly see in the ranking how many Australians are sitting in the top 10.
Yeah, we're interested in that because we could only send a few stragglers over there. So, you know. How are the stragglers?
And for stragglers, they seem to be going okay. They really seem to be holding their own.
But Luca, I'm not sure if you're aware, but for an Australian at the moment to actually leave the country, they need to give a very good reason of why they're leaving the country. So I could imagine it just the letter gets sent to ScoMo, going to the Moth Worlds, mate. Yeah. Go for a good time.
That's it. I know. We don't speak too well with the custom officer. I understand that.
How just going back to the vote, were there basically everyone agreed, or was it a bit conjecture? Or
no, there was a negative vote from basically 3 countries, which were Australia, for obvious reasons, UK, and New Zealand. Even though, let's say New Zealand, after voting against, sort of toned down the vote and said, well, we are happy if it happens anyway. Every other country voted in favor. So basically, more or less, we have, because we count the votes depending also on the number of sailors in each country, so we weight the vote. I'm not sure if it's the right word, but it came back as 78% in favor of the Worlds against more or less 25%. Of course, the vote of Australia and UK was the vote of 2 very important fleets. So that made me think, of course, but at the end of the day, we had the vast majority in favor, so we decided to go forward. And I think at the end of the day, with a bit of luck in there too, the Worlds are happening. There's enough representation to make it meaningful. Of course, it's not perfect. But I think it was important for the class to have an event and to be out there and to give reason to many of the sailors to do something this year.
Well, I know we can certainly say it's one of the best events one of the greatest events we've been looking forward to, and especially the way it's turned out. And like, there's a couple of stragglers you go through the top 20, and that is a list, gents. That is a list of yachties. Sure, there's probably there are a few missing who could have been there, but circumstances didn't allow. But it's a quality field. You'd have to be happy with who's turned up as well, Luca.
Well, absolutely. At the end of the day, I think the Moth class at the moment represent the very best sailors that are out there. They come to play in this class. There is no other event like this where they come to play because they like it. They're not paid to come here. It's where they want to be, and it's basically the A list. You have if you look, as you say, to the top 20, 30 guys, they basically have all a list and medal. of sun color. Plus, they have won multiple World Championship. They have made their name in SageGP, the America's Cup, the Volvo Ocean Race. They're all here. There is really, I cannot think of any other event where there are so many. Not even the Star Sailor League. It's just not comparable. It's the event where they are all here in one place.
Yeah, and that's
not
what
even
you
class where you have the same quality. It's just impossible to put all of this name together.
And I think, Jordan, you put that together perfectly after chatting to whomever it was who was sailing Moths, just saying that this is the class that you need to perform in the current professional sailing circuits, based on SailGP, America's Cup, all those sorts of things. You need to perform your art in a Moth and keep refining in a Moth. And pretty much every other Moth sailor we've spoken to that are on those circuits has confirmed that. So you're right, a stacked fleet. But I want to get to kind of the serious stuff before we start talking about the regatta. Lay day yesterday, do they party like it's like proper yachties as well?
No, being proper Motties, most of them they spent the day doing boat work.
Spent most of the day tinkering with 3 mil Dyneema. But also doing repair works, boat work, training. I tried to get some people to come out late, but they all say, no, we're going to sleep early, tomorrow race day. You know, it seems like they're serious people. Just bloody sailing nerds, aren't they? Sailing nerds.
Bullshit.
Well, but wait for the last night when we have a world champion and we all head normally to the Winds Bar. Then things change.
Which is a good question. I mean, obviously they're strange times. Is there any sort of limitations as to what you can do? I mean, obviously there's 140 something plus sailors, and you've got to make sure the protocols are followed. I guess there's sort of limitations there, is there?
Not really, because the only limitations we have at the moment with the law in Italy is we need to avoid, let's say, too many people together in small areas. But other than that, we can serve food normally. We can eat at restaurants. We can have pretty much a normal life.
All right, good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
now, the regatta.
You guys over there in lockdown. So, but it was like when we all watched the America's Cup and we saw the Kiwi all going out, no mask, nothing, and it did look like Disneyland or some other world out there.
Yep.
And I guess more or less we are like that at the moment.
Yep.
I think you've been very smart, though. I think you've been very smart with organising the Worlds at Lake Garda. Obviously, you know, with the Moth, it loves good, consistent breezes, particularly with the evolution of it now. So that was really, really smart. I'm just intrigued in the sailing instructions, Luca. Have you written a clause where it says only Australians are allowed to win races?
No, unfortunately. We didn't. And of course, Australia was the place where foiling moths were basically invented. And I think the rest of the world still needs to try to keep up. I'm sure they have the benefit of, you guys have the benefits because I live there, so I know how it is. Basically, in Sydney, you basically have a 9-month long summer and 3 months of slightly colder weather, but it's super fine to prepare. So when you have the kind of conditions, the kind of sailors that you have over there, they all like to train together. They share the way they do the progression. It's very open. When you have that, you have these results. You have almost unbeatable fleets.
Yes.
We are lucky.
Yeah, I was talking to the president of the Australian fleet today, and he said that the success of the Australian fleet is because of his leadership.
So that's a reflection on you, Luca. You can say, well, the success of the whole fleet is because of your leadership.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm just managing the administration, paying the bills, and that kind of stuff, really.
But speaking of which, Luca, prior to the regatta, you held a women's clinic, and this regatta, this Worlds, is it the most women who have ever competed?
Yeah, we have basically 12 women, which is not much, of course. We still need to work on it. But it's the highest number ever, and it's also the highest ratio of women to men in any event, which is now 3. Like we tripled. I don't remember exactly what it is, but basically we tripled the number of women ratio to men compared to the last record. We just went bang up.
Yeah.
The reason being, I think it's fair to say it is because of the Moth Women Camp. We advertised it a month before the actual camp, and I think what it meant was that women were more than welcome in the fleet. That we wanted to have them, not just occasionally, but part of the game. So many, maybe because it is also the end of the Olympic cycle, let's say, many Olympic sailors showed up. Many women with gold, bronze, again, silver medals, or that just did, for example, the NAC Olympics, were part of the camp. Once the stories were published on Instagram by the girls that were doing the women camp, other girls that were in Garda sailing professionally, they just came over and said, "Can I ever go?"
Wow.
I was just about to say, I'm sure that the whole thing is going to grow pretty quickly because the word got out over here. Nina Curtis obviously did her bit, and we were seeing lots of footage of her sailing around. So I think it's going to only grow.
Yeah, I think. I mean, let's say by a class managing perspective, it seemed obvious to me that is a quick way to grow members if we say women are welcome and we mean it. Because at the moment we have, I would say, less than 5%. And if by next year, like this year, we had 12 women in the world, if by next year we have 24 and then 48,
Absolutely.
and then of course these are the numbers at the worst, but there are a vast number of girls that don't participate necessarily to the top event, but they are part of the national fleets, then of course it's a good step forward, I think.
I only see one problem with it, Luca, currently at the moment. With such a high-performing women fleet, you tell them to take their medals off because they keep getting caught on the racks and stuff. You look down the list, and it is a gun fleet, a gun set of yachties right there, and we really love seeing women grow in the sport, and I think this is a fantastic. What you did with the camp has gone extremely well, and we hope it keeps growing for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the AGM on the annual general meeting of the class on Friday. And we did put in the notes that it is now, it should be, and it will be now part of every next Moth World to have the women camp, and also a camp for, let's say, more beginner sailors, or let's say not so advanced sailors, in every event. So I think it's good that in the future we are doing the same, and it's good that it's known so that women know that it's not just a one-off. It's we want to do it, still we will need to do a man camp because there are so many women that we need to
A man camp.
diversity. At that point, then we will be fine.
I love it. Love it.
Fantastic.
Good. I just mentioned as we go into the gold and silver fleets, Josie Glidden from the UK is leading the women overall. Joella, I think, from New Zealand in second. She's a gold medalist in the 470 from memory. And then is it Lisa Schweit is Germany, I think, is third overall.
Yeah, she's from Germany, top of the silver fleet.
Yeah.
And then all the other women are there. There's like Tara Pacheco, which is another gold medalist in 70. There's Sinem Kurbais. She just did the NACRA Olympics. Yep. There's Clelia, an Italian sailor. There's Franzi Mage. I can't remember all the names on top of my head now. That's but right. There's Vanessa Ampellas from France, Caroline Boulle from France again. Just trying to remember.
You're right.
But there's many.
That's good.
As we go into these final 3 days, what's the weather looking like? The aura's still going to kick in, is it? Or we're looking for pretty good conditions?
Garda at the moment, finger crossed, seems to deliver what we contractually have with the lake and the Garda winds. So I think we're doing fine. It doesn't even seem that we will need to race in the morning in the Pelair, which may have some nice and interesting conditions, especially for the gold fleet. But if we keep doing all the regattas that we need in the afternoon, we normally try to keep then the Mondays free, the mornings free.
Perfect. It sounds like it's going to be a great regatta. We can't wait.
So speaking of the regatta, the current fleet, what's your key observations thus far before we start talking about the final few days?
Well, what's interesting to see is there's an incredible speed by the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and Ian are just out of this world. They are super, super quick.
There's something noticeable that you've seen there, Luca? Are they doing anything different? Time on the water?
They're just, I think they have trained a lot. They are two top sailors. They train together. They know how to hike. And they give everything they have, and they tweaked the boat perfectly, and the package just works fine, and it's impressive. What is interesting in the fleet at the moment is that we see lots of let's say new boats popping up. Well, Maguire didn't show up with the new boat, but they have a new boat coming, which they call the Aero. What's the name of the Maguire thing? It's not the Rocket. Well, anyway, doesn't come to mind. Sorry, but anyway, they have a new boat coming. There's Exploder, which is basically the Polish brand that makes cats, that came with 4 new boats to the Worlds, and so many foils that it looks like Christmas.
Well, Christmas for you, Mr. Foil.
Yeah, of course, Christmas for us. And they're doing, I would say, reasonably well for first event. Of course, they break some parts, but that's very normal. The beakers at the beginning, they had very similar issues. And there's also
This was designed by Gonzalo Redondo, which is an America's Cup designer that was connected with American Magic. And then there is, I think, another boat coming up from somewhere. But what is interesting there is that there is interest by manufacturers to get into the class. And of course, it's not easy because either the boat performs well and is super fast from almost the very beginning, or it will just be left to rot somewhere because
it's so high performance.
That's the nature of the class.
Yeah.
Either you're quick or don't even bother to show up. That's basically the whole thing.
What are the top boys in? What's Tommy and Gobes in?
I would say that a good number of the top guys are with the Beaker. There is Nathan with the Mach 2. There's some guys with the Maguire, but I would say it is fair to say that probably the top end is Flying Beakers at the moment.
Yeah,
there's quite a few new builders coming out, as you said, Luca. But the other thing is, obviously, with the deck sweepers now seems to be right across the fleet. And I think the deck sweep is getting bigger and bigger. Are people going to have to sit on one side of the boat soon, or how do you get around?
Just
go around the front of the rig.
You're laughing at it, but that some people really thought about the option of trying to design a boat where you go forward instead of under.
Wow.
But yeah, certainly the deck sweeper is now everywhere. It's the aero package, everything is more and more in refining the aerodynamics. Now with the boats going 20 plus knots of wind, of course, the aero component is super important. And that's why we see more and more refinement in that sector, and more sail makers playing into it. There's I think I'm not sure if it was Kyle or Ian that came with a large number of Doyle sails.
Kyle.
Yeah. So there is certainly interest. It is also, I guess, for all of these sail makers, it is an easy, so to speak, way to test sails in boats that will need to go fast without having too much sail area. They're not spending millions in R&D, but it's just an 8 square meter sail.
So when we watched the America's Cup, we noticed that we seemed to observe that the boats that didn't have a boom down the bottom, that didn't have that interruption to the sail shape down the bottom, we did better. Is there innovation in the booms, for example, to allow that? Or are people going under deck booms? Obviously not.
There is. I think I've seen a couple of wishbones.
Oh, yeah?
Let's say it's similar to AC, if you wish. I'm not sure if that's the direction everybody's going, but for sure someone is experimenting with that. There's, I would say there is a trend in the fact that the Z boom seems to be the shape of choice now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was initiated by Benoit Marie a few years back.
Yeah.
And now it's basically more or less normal to have that kind of boom, which is...
That's an interesting name, Benoit Marie. How's he going with his? He had a little bit of a development with his wings, or how's he going?
Well, he basically puts solid wings on a Maguire Exocet. So now the name comes back, and the new boat from Maguire is called the Aeroset.
Yep.
Well, I think it's going okay, but not as good as he wanted to be. Maybe it was the first days, but we will see.
Yeah.
When the Gold Fleet is running, the game is different. I've seen, basically, I would say the mentality of the mentality of that I've seen yesterday in the majority of the Gold Fleet sailors that are, let's say, not the top 10, which are already there, but the other betting on some change just to go faster. And they say either I get to top 20, 25, or even if it doesn't work, to be 30 or 40, it doesn't make much of a difference. So they're trying some, let's say, daring last-minute developments to see if it makes a change.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
So what's the format from here, Luca? So lay day yesterday, coming into the last few days.
3 days. It's 3 days of racing until the end. So every day there should be 3 to 4 races. Yeah, fleet are split. There's basically 71 in each fleet. And today we have the first start for the silver, and then it's the gold, and the aim is to do 3 to 4 races for each fleet. The aura in these days basically blowing for like 6 hours in a row.
Wow.
So,
and before we ask you who's going to win, Luca, what about, there's a bit of controversy not too long ago with the rudder gantries. Has that gone away, all that concern?
No, it's not gone away. There was an interpretation by the chief measurer that was published, I think, just after Perth. I think lots of people didn't really pay too much attention because we didn't have a word last year. And then basically the majority of the beakers had to modify their gantry to make it not sealed. Basically, it's
not part of the boat. Yeah, not part of the boat. Yeah.
What I requested to, let's say, the measurement committee is instead of an interpretation, to come up with a variation of the rule or an adjustment of the rule, which is, let's say, well written and definite, so it is clear what we want to do. And I asked them to basically draft 3 proposals. Let's say a sort of neutral one that more or less keep things as they are at the moment. A software ones that gives more freedom in the gantries, and a harder one that basically says forgets flotation and restrict basically gantry to what was probably originally intended for them.
Well, if you want a hand, mate, I had the 4-inch grinder out earlier this morning, just doing a few mods on the Barkarati Express. So if it's still an issue, give us a holler. I'll pop on over and I'll take care of a few gantries with my grinder. No problem.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Hey, Luca, who's going to win?
It's hard to say, and it's not for me to say, of course.
Oh, no.
Come on, you've got to have a favourite, for sure. You're the president.
Father Fowler.
It's exactly part of the role description, not to say who's going to be the winner. No, I don't know. Anyone in the top 10 now can win, of course. Nice. I would say actually everyone in the top 20 can win.
Obviously, there's quite a bit of consistency between, well, we've mentioned Tom and Goobs. Is there someone who's just had some pure streaks of brilliance and then crashed hard or anything like that?
Well, there's, I would say everyone just near there is doing great regattas. If you look, what is interesting is that if you look at the point score, the top 20 guys, they have very similar points, very, very similar points. They are not distanced by 10, 20, 30 points between each of them. That means that there is a very consistent result by all of them, and that anything can happen. It's going to be down to pressure and how much they want to win, of course. And as you mentioned before, being in the top 20, I wouldn't say it's like a human resource office for the America's Cup and CGP, but more or less, if you are in the top 20 of the mods, you have a job.
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
I mean, you've mentioned it before, Jordan. Consistency wins your regattas.
yeah.
But the only issue here, there's 19 other boats that are consistent as well.
You know who I reckon's doing really well? Like, I'm really impressed with is Francesco Bruni, because I think he's sitting 12th, and, you know, because he only sits on the port-hand side.
It's a bit way down. Jimmy's on the other side.
Yeah, but they've been working on their communication. The communication's quite good now, so they've got a lot of practice.
Speaking of the cup...
Shit, you've been waiting all day to say that, haven't you?
Good one. Speaking of the cup, mate, you've got another role in the world where you work for a little company called Persico. And they've been doing, obviously they've got 69F, but this new Fly 40. Tell us about that. That looks fun.
Well, that is certainly an interesting toy that we just launched. It's basically the easy way to describe it is a small version of an American Cup boat, 40 feet long. The aim of the boat is to at least initially for sure to get to the owner drivers. There is full flight control, 100%. So it should be a reasonable boat to sail for, let's say, experienced owner drivers, of course. We are talking of a boat that in the early polars is showing 25 knots of wind and 38 downwind. So the performance.
Yeah.
The old owner-driver area has changed a little bit from the Far 40.
And can you tell me where the main sheet guy puts his hand on the helm so that the driver doesn't wobble all over the place? That's all we need to know.
Yeah, there's the system. But the interesting thing is that there is also no grinders.
Yep.
Everything is battery powered by 4 batteries. The systems are, I would say, as easy as they can get in terms of reliability and, of course, performance and maintenance. Persico will organize the circuit and will take care by providing at each event a person in charge of the composites to check and repair if anything get smashed between the boats. There will be a guy in charge of flight control to test the software and the system before they hit the water. And there will be a guy in charge of hydraulics. So the team need not to have these people in their own team, and that will lower the cost of the campaign. We think we're going to be much lower than a TP52, to give you an idea.
I've seen this model before. Yeah. Interesting.
The other thing, of course, is that you guys signed on Bar Karate as the commentating team for that.
That's true. I did hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that, by the way. I thought you had a pretty good model there, and
down she goes.
It is part of the deal, of course. It's in the early contract, so we are sending it out to the owner.
I must admit, though, mate, when I look at Persico, you know, with that 69F and the Fly 40 now coming out, when with some of the projects we've been involved in, we did a lot of our best work after having a few beers. You know, a lot of the best design ideas would come up after we'd knocked down a few beers, and we'd throw, well, let's try this idea. Now, we know you guys pretty well, so we're wondering if you've stole our development methodology, because you guys are really throwing some stuff out there at the moment.
Well, we're still waiting for a case of Karate beers in as soon as we finish, please send one to my attention and Mark Somerville attention. I'm sure we can do some upgrades to the Flight 40 once we get it.
Put it this way, gents. I've been lucky enough to be in Persico for the odd day here and there and enjoyed the odd lunch. A lot of design work's getting done in the Arvo, put it that way.
That's cool. How is the 69F going, by the way, Luca? Like, we see a few boats out. They're obviously banging around on Lake Garda. They've got a regatta, a series going on. It's they're going all right?
Well, they're going super all right, I would say. We have orders till now, I would say, May next year.
Wow.
We are making a little more than a boat per month at the moment, but we are thinking to go up with the production because of the demand. 6 of them are heading to the United States pretty soon. There's a request from everywhere. It's of course again an easy package. You get the boats. There is let's say a protocol on how to run the races. Well written. It makes sense. It is possible to basically buy the whole 69F package and say, let's say the whole training, racing, chartering options all in one package, not just the boats. So the system seems to work so far, and we have produced boats without stopping from day one. So it's all going okay.
Bravo
indeed. So, I mean, I think you guys got a Club Swan 80 under construction, I think, as well. And what else you got? What's coming up next? What's the next great big idea?
Well, yes, we do have the Swan 80 in production. We demoed, I think, a couple of months ago. It was mid-July. There's, let's say, other boats on the radar, but you know how secretive is the system, and especially the people we deal with as owners. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you much more than this.
Can I ask one question?
I think the only thing you need to know, Jordan Spencer, is Marcello Persico is the proud owner of a Land Rover Defender. There we go.
I've lost all respect for the man. You know, on those...
Just for the record, Nick, I did own 3 Land Rover Defenders as well in my
Bravo. Always knew I liked you, mate.
That's adding fuel to Jordan's fire. I can see him bubbling up right now.
One of which, 2 of them I had when I lived in Australia. Series 3 short wheelbase.
That one's still there, Luca, on the corner.
Yeah, it's broken down where you left it.
And a 110 Extreme, which was a fantastic machine, even too much.
Oh, we'll talk. I'll call you after the show.
Actually, on those club, go back to Defender. I was going to ask a question about the. I'm not sure if you're allowed to say anything, but being the foiling expert with the Club Swans, that sort of foil that cants over the top. I don't know. Do you call it a sea foil or?
The first one we are delivering is with straight foils.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I was just intrigued at how effective they work on some of those Club Swans, but that's all right. I'll let you off on that one. Anything else, boys? We don't want to chew up too much of his time. He's a busy man.
Just send our best to all the mothies down in the boat park. Wish them luck for the next 3 days to the Bar Karate team. Yep. Thanks for joining us. We know it's early over there, but thanks for being part of another episode of Bar Karate, Luca, and enjoy.
That's it, Luca. You're a rare breed. You're a rare breed, Luca. You've now got yourself into. You're now 2 up, so you're this very rare breed of Bar Karatians. You're now on 2 episodes.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Jordan, and thanks, Nick. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
See you, bud.
Ciao.
Well, clearly a very smart man on many levels in what he does with the foiling week, what he does with the class, all those presidentships he holds, part of Persico, and of course the ex-owner of 2 defenders in a Series 3.
Well,
So you can't take that away from him.
That was always going to come up. But I'd like to go one step further. And, we don't mind a nickname or two here at Bar Karate. And I'm thinking that Father Foiler could actually stick.
Father. You are the father.
Father Foiler. Let's roll with that, Father Foiler.
That takes their whole hashtag loyal to the foil.
Not sure how it translates out to the in Italian.
Papa Foiler.
Papa Foiler.
Oh dear.
Papa Foiler.
All right. Let's move on. Good discussion. Good luck to everyone, as we've said, at the Moth Worlds.
Yep.
Any club events that anyone's told us about this week?
Canada Cup.
The Canada Cup
on, and the Figaro. Can we call that a club event?
I think we can.
What club?
Bar Karate Club.
The Solitaire de Figaro. They're up. That's at stage 3 now, isn't it? They're
busy.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if that's
I must admit, I've dropped the ball a little bit on following that too much.
Yeah.
But given that we do still have a bit of golf left in that game, as the saying goes, we'll be sure to deliver some results shortly.
Yeah.
So as they approach the clubhouse on the 18th, we'll catch up with them.
Correct.
So they got. I think they start today as we record this Europe time. So of stage 3, which is 6:24 nautical mile leg from Fécamp to the Bay of Mollet. Just
what I did see though, gents, is basically like a headshot of every skipper once they got in.
Yeah.
Oh, tough.
Yeah.
Must be tough on the body, tough on the mind. Hard to, just really maintain your physical and mental side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maintain your balance out on those foils. You turn them upside down and lay on them for a riding moment.
It's a tough place to sail too, because they've got that. There's quite a bit of tidal movement and stuff. So where they're doing all that racing, it's going to be.
It's correct.
Actually, Royal Queensland,
tough fleet.
Just where I live today, they had a double-hander race today.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Young Hayden Barney, who I've neglected to mention once, and I got hit in the head a few times by drive-by shootings. Sailed with Rowan Veal, and they had a win today. There's some footage on Facebook for the.
Yep, they've got the 3,300 up there.
Yeah, that's right. It looked good, smoking along. We'll come back to double-handed stuff in a minute, BP, just in case you're interested. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, all right. Yeah, don't mind a bit of double-handed sailing.
Listener of the week. Do we have a listener of the week?
We do. Mike Madge, another Canadian.
Whoa.
After our recent listener of the week, Denise Del Mundo. Mike has taken it out. Be prepared for you may or may not receive a merchandise pack coming your way. But Mike reached out to us, and actually it's enticed us. I mean, Denise did send us a lot of information about some great Canadians to interview, and that Denise is high on the priority list in the coming weeks. So stand by to our friends from Canada.
I bet we're going to talk about you, mate.
Hey. Sorry. Hey.
Sorry. That's Canadian too, isn't it? A lot of T-shirt orders going to Canada, you said, boss.
Yes. Yeah. So, believe it or not, well, we haven't even done any much promo apart from mentioning it last week.
Yeah.
But I currently have, the sweatshop has been full noise. I currently have a cupboard full of T-shirts, and a lot are being sent to Canada. So, sorry. So there are a lot going there. But for everyone else, just jump on the merch page of our website, barkarate.com, order away. I'll generally do a run to the post office once a week. So, yeah, get on board. Limited editions.
Yeah, cool.
Love it.
Very cool. Boys, what's going on in New Zealand?
Oh. That's it.
No. Has he pulled another masterstroke? One Grant Dalton.
I don't know. I'm
in
intrigued.
Basically threatening of the walkaway, so more coin gets thrown. So eventually they defend the cup on home waters.
Well,
who knows? So the current news is, sorry, it's not Phil Dunphy, is it? It's Mr. Dunphy, we'll call it. It's Phil Dunphy, who's off bloody Modern Family.
Mark Dunphy it is.
Mark Dunphy has said he's going to tip in another 80 million on top of the 100 million that the government have said. Is it enough? Is it enough?
So it's not just his money, though. He reckons he's part of a conglomerate. I think the pushback from Team New Zealand has been, well, we've really had no communication with the guy, so you're going to have to stump up and show us... show us the money. Well, yeah, prove that it's genuine. It's interesting, though, because remember they're going to do the venue announcement mid-September, aren't they? That was due
18th of September, I believe.
Yeah.
Or maybe 1 or 2 days out there, but around that date.
Well, you're right. Maybe it is a marketing masterstroke.
Well, but he didn't. This Dunphy guy say he didn't want dolts involved.
No, that is correct. And then what happened was the team just
massive support,
massive pushback.
Yeah,
but, I think that one way or the other, it's obviously we're going to find out. But I think it's creating interest.
It's funny, isn't it, when you put lots of money into something that it becomes tense. Things get much more tense. That's why we have no stress in our lives.
What's involved here? Is it just genuine interest or just massive egos?
There's always that, isn't it?
I reckon it's a massive tax write-off.
Oh, well,
that 80 million will have a huge tax write-off opportunity for the people involved is my suspicion.
So you're saying we should tip in a bit? You need to make money to have a tax issue.
So we have to take a loan out to do that?
We got plenty of tax write-offs in the bank, all right, mate.
Yeah, don't worry here.
Anyway, the good thing about it, though, is it does open the potential that it could stay in New Zealand if this is genuine. And I don't know about you blokes, but I'd be absolutely stoked if it stayed in New Zealand.
Mate, let's face that would be the ultimate result. Yeah. You can see from a performance standpoint where people stand and the thoughts of the potentially going elsewhere and the hosting fees and all those other elements.
Yeah.
But for it to remain in NZ, that would be a fantastic result. And I don't think anyone would argue with that.
And from an accommodation perspective for Barkarati, we've got Club Jan and Ian just right there.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. Get a nice roast dinner from my mother-in-law.
That's right. Not bad on the spag bowl either, just quietly.
Exactly.
I guess the good part there is looking forward. We should be all vaccinated and all that sort of stuff, so we should be all right for travel. So the Barkarati bar just looking better by the day.
It could. Yeah, that's right. It's much more likely in New Zealand than anywhere, unless it was in the US. I think, given some of the people that want to sponsor the club, the Barkarati bar, barge. But regardless, we find it
long. It's just a long, slow trip. That's all the way over there.
Yeah.
It's not so bad to New Zealand.
I've driven a few tugs in my time, and it'd be a fairly driving a tug, pushing a dumb barge, all from here to wherever in the world. It's a long, long, long trip.
Final comment. I'm sure you have driven a few tugs in the time, pal, but I heard about those basketball trips you used to go on.
Should have thought about what I was saying before I said it.
No, that's not like you.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay. Well, whatever. If it works out, that'd be super cool. Yeah, that's what we want. Super keen to see it work out. Good luck to the Kiwis. Obviously, well-managed team. We have complete faith in that team. Another exciting event, gentlemen, that is coming up, and I think every one of us would be pretty keen to see it, is the Star Worlds start tomorrow, basically, the 5th. I think measurement today and stuff, but Star Worlds, the 99th.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
What a class, hey? What a class.
How many lining up, did we say?
How many lining up? I don't know. It's 80-something. It's 80-something, I think, from memory.
Massive, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, fantastic.
86 teams. There you go. On the entries. There you go. So from the 4th to the 11th of September during Kilowaka Kielavoca. So there'll be plenty of other boats floating around. So Kiel Week starts as well, which is intriguing. The interesting one, of course, is Mateusz Koszmarewicz, the Polish superstar sailor. You boys all over him. So Mateusz, he's former Finn sailor, gold medalist in the Finn from memory. I think he won the Gold Cup in the Finns a couple of times, and he's won the Star Worlds a couple of times. He's the defending champ. I think he'd be the favourite, but he, of course, sails with Bruno Prada. And the interesting thing about old Bruno, baby, 5 World Championship wins in the Star, and if they win again this time, that's one formidable team. If they win again this time, he'll be the first person ever to 6 world champs in the Star. So,
wow,
yeah, he the Brazilian superstar there. Geez, they produce some superstars, Brazil. When they win, they don't stop winning, the Brazilians, do they?
They just keep going.
They just keep winning. They are phenomenal. So yeah, I'm pumped. I think we'll give this one a little bit of coverage.
Yep, here.
Great event.
Up the Stars.
Can't wait. And they're pretty good at producing some footage from their events. So because it's part of Kielavoca, Kiel Week, so do you like the pronunciation? I'm all over it. Because of that, I'm not sure that they'll have their own standalone video team going on, but yeah, should be good. Should be good.
Yep. Here.
BP.
Yeah.
Just a random question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a massive week, my friend. Massive week. The X2, you sold 2 boats this week. I don't know what your sales numbers are, and you don't need to tell us, but selling 2 boats in a week is a big deal.
Where we are. I can tell you where we are.
No, you don't have to.
6 boats. We've signed 6 and sort of put on the spot a bit here, but we've signed to 6. And I guess the big thing is we've had a bit of a tough year, as everyone has in the world. But we're now over that hump, and we're absolutely smashing it. COVID obviously reared its ugly head, but we're all good. Also, for the European people over there, we've signed with a company that are going to be Far X2 Europe. So that is going to be up and running this week. You'll see them at the Southampton Boat Show. So if you want to know anything about the Far X2, go and see them. They'll be there.
What? So with the boats that are coming out, like how long till the first one hits the water, mate?
Well, look, we're hoping to be on the ship end of October. And then, hopefully sailing before Christmas. So it's just crazy times. You know, we're not making any excuses there, but it's been a real strange time.
I'll tell you,
it'd be tough, mate. Yeah, manufacturing in general would be tough. Not to mention, all the different elements from everywhere around the world that needs to be pulled together.
Yep.
It's a logistical challenge as well as a manufacturing challenge. So.
It's been tough, but as I said, the boys at XSP in Indonesia have done a fantastic job, and they've gotten over a lot of hurdles, and I think that's been the biggest thing. So it's all good. It's exciting times, and there is, to give you an idea, we've got 1 boat coming here to Australia. We've got 2 going to the States. We've got 2 going to the UK and 1 going to New Zealand at this stage. So there's plenty going on.
Yeah, right. Cool boats.
Sweet as, bro.
I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see one on the water, to tell the honest truth.
Me neither.
I just want to see one of those things smoking along downhill. Is like if you get one here before Hobart and Hobart's on, is it planned to go south?
The plan was it was going to go south with the girls. Alice and Bryony were taking the boat, but as we know now with what's happened, we're probably a bit close to that, and we'll be looking. And the event itself is touch and go. We'll wait and see what happens there.
Even better then. Is it going to go north?
Well, no. There's obviously other things. Sydney to Auckland, for example, end of January is a possibility. Then we've got a lot of things going on. All the way through to next Hobart. And so, in essence, for us, if we, whether it does or not go ahead, the race itself or the boat, gets here and there's not the time, then we've got a really solid year next year, and hopefully we get a few more boats in Australia, and it builds from there. So that's really where it's at.
Right. Well, I hate to tell you, Bud, but I do know just through other areas that ships, we're struggling to get a lot of ships coming into Australia now because...
You do not need to tell me about ships, all right? Yeah. Okay? And again, this thing has been 24/7 for me now for the best part of, well, since the inception, but particularly the last 8 months has been a really, really, really big test.
Oh, I got one for you then.
Yeah, okay.
There are many ships that sail the sea. There are tall ships. Anyone who's been on the piss with me would recognise that one. All right, enough of the serious shit, boys.
That's it. Move on.
Hey, fellas, just in total self-indulgence, 10th of the month, Southampton Boat Show between 1 and 2, OGR press conference, Ocean Globe Race. That awesome. Is. There'll be some pretty serious heavy hitters there. If anyone does have interest in the Ocean Globe Race, go and see my mate Don McIntyre or Jane, who will be there, and just have a little chat. Always up for a chat is Don, and is Don is good.
Yes, Don is good. That's what I was waiting for.
Cool. All right, boys. Listeners out there, of course, as Bossy said, jump on the website, barkarati.com for the tees and the hoodies. Reach out to us there also. Send us an email, cheers@barkarati.com if you want to tell us some names or some ideas or just share, become listener of the week, anything. We love getting the information. We don't reply to everyone. So, yeah, there's a high standard. You've got to come in hard and funny. And, we love the interaction. We love the fact that you guys are all listening to us and hopefully you're enjoying it still. And, thanks so much. It's been a ton of fun.
Love your work, gents.
See ya. Happy
Keep the
Father's
banter
Day.
Alive.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that could be a T-shirt.
There's one coming.
We'll do that next.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Everyone, good luck in the Moth, all the Moth competitors. Good luck to all the Star competitors.
Good luck, Moffies.
Good luck to the Figaro competitors. BP, you wrote this song while you're single-handedly, weren't you?
I wrote it single-handed.
One hand, one eye. Love it.
Building to a crescendo here.